What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. Today we are talking about a boxed haul of games and all that sort. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay everyone, so in this video I will be showing off all the insane boxes that I've got. Now, none of these actually either have consoles or games in them just because of what it was, but I'll get into the story in just a little bit. Now, this is Carly, she's my girlfriend, and it really stemmed from her, so we're gonna talk about what happened and how we got all this cool stuff. So we started off, she's from Minnesota and I'm from Oklahoma, and we were visiting her parents, and her parents had an old house that they were destroying, and they had some pictures of it, and we saw this action set here for the NES in one of the pictures of stuff that they were just going to demolish. So I had her call them up and say, hey, we want that box and we want all the game stuff with it. So they dug all this stuff out of this house, and we basically got it and cleaned it up, and we got some really great boxes. So I'm going to show off all that cool stuff in this video, so check it out and tune in. Okay, so as you can tell, here we have an NES action set. It is completely empty inside, there is nothing in it, but the box is really cool, and it's in pretty decent shape. The back side has a little bit of a warping due to like water damage, but that happens, so I'm not too picky about that. Okay, so we got the action set box out of the way, so we have some area here that we can move these boxes in. Now, I do have boxes of both Intellivision and NES games. We're going to start with the Intellivision and work our way to the NES games. So first, we got Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's just the box, there's nothing that came with it or anything like that. So, it's pretty basic. Then we have New Atlantis, which I did find the manual for later on, so that's somewhere in the boxes with stuff that I got. Then we got a nice looking Donkey Kong, which it's in pretty bad shape, but it's Donkey Kong, so you can't go wrong with it. Then we've got Night Stalker Super Video Arcade, which is kind of cool. It looks really rad with that Black Widow on the front, and it looks like it could be like a creepy game, which I'm hoping for. Then we have a Super Video Arcade controller. Now it is, like I said, all of this is just the boxes, but it's still pretty cool to see something like this because I never actually had an Intellivision, and I still don't to this day, so seeing this stuff is kind of cool to me. Then we've got a Pitfall, which I did find the actual manual on, so that's pretty cool. All I need is the game, and then I will be good to go with that. Then we also have Poker and Blackjack, which is pretty cool. This one's really kind of beat up, but it's cool to have. Next we have is Locke and Chase, which actually looks pretty interesting because of the dude on the cover has these ridiculous mustaches. So I'm definitely going to have to find that and play it, of course. And then we have Happy Trails, which this box is actually in really good condition. And I don't know much about this game, but it kind of makes me want to actually play it. So that's kind of cool. Those were all our television games. So those were, yet again, boxes that we got that we found and we're very stoked to have. Next, we're going to go ahead and dive into some of these NES games, and I've played either most of these or all of them, so I'll be able to give you a little bit more insight on the actual games themselves. But we're going to start off with this really cool NES Max Controller Box. I saw this and I was stoked about it. Now, it was kind of beat up and flattened, and I was able to kind of give it its shape back, and I think if I put it in one of those clear cases for maybe one of my Super Nintendo or my Nintendo 64 game boxes, I think it'll take shape very well. Now we're going to start off with obviously the best game ever, on the NES. If you haven't played this, you definitely have to buy this, and that is Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. Actually, if you could figure out I was joking about that, this game is pretty terrible. It's ages 3 to 6, so don't pick this game up if you want to. But the box is in like great condition, so I can't complain there at all. Next, we have Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and this is actually a Tengen cart, which, if you do not know, was a cartridge that was made because the NES had a lockout chip, and this company actually got around that lockout chip and they started creating their own unlicensed games. So that's pretty cool to see an unlicensed game box. Next, we have DuckTales, which is pretty sweet. It has the foam insert in it, and it has some posters and stuff like that. It doesn't have the manual in it, but it is still a really nice looking box. So when I saw that, I was very happy. Now we have Simon's Quest Castlevania 2. This is yet again a great box. This is like pristine, like no one's ever used it or handled it, which is pretty awesome because some of these other boxes just have been destroyed. So that's cool to see. And then right after that, we have the original Castlevania on the NES, which is yet another great game. If you haven't played Castlevania 1 or 2, you definitely need to. But these boxes are so pristine, they're like brand new looking. So I'm pretty stoked to have gotten that. Next, you got your Dragon Warrior, which, as you know, there's like 4 or 5 on the NES. So this is yet again another awesome game on the NES. But having it boxed and in this condition is pretty sweet. Next is Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, which is a game that I've actually never played for the NES, so I'll definitely have to get my hands on it because this is pretty cool. And it looks like they cut out the serial number for some reason. I don't really know, but whatever, I'm not going to complain. So this next game is a Sunsoft game. It's a Fester's Quest, and if you don't know, this is from the Addams Family. Fester is the butler, so that's pretty weird and wacky. When she saw this, she was like, "Oh, I want to play that game!" Well, what she doesn't know is the game's terrible. So this is a really cool box, and it's in great condition yet again, but the game itself is not good at all. Okay, so next we have Faxanadu, which is a cool, like, adventure kind of game for the NES. Now this box, if you could switch it to the front, this box is really intriguing because you don't really see anything other than the medallion and the name, and every time I see this game, I'm always like, oh, what's that? But I've played it and I know what it's about now, so that's pretty cool. Next we have the Legacy of the Wizard, which, if you did not watch Metal Jesus' recent video about $5 games, Riff from Superhero Game Squad actually said this is one of his favorite NES games. So when I saw that, I instantly thought about that because I watched that like 2 days before we saw this. So we found this and I was like, oh, that's cool. I heard Riff talking about it. I've actually never played this game, but now I will definitely have to check it out. Next, we have Milon Secret Castle, which is a game that a lot of people seem to enjoy. It's not really my thing, but it's still a cool game, honestly. This box is yet again solid. It's basically brand new, and I'm surprised that it made it through this kind of conditions. Next is Donkey Kong Classics, which is actually one of my favorite ways to play Donkey Kong, just because you can play Donkey Kong and then Donkey Kong Jr. on the same cartridge. So that's pretty cool. So if you've never played this game, definitely need to check it out for sure. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can tell what these two are, and from the get-go I saw these and I thought, wow, these are in amazing shape. These are really cool. Now, this one is just Legend of Zelda, but it does have its price tag, as you can see, and still has the plastic sleeve on it, so that's really cool. It's basically in brand new condition. It looks like it was opened to take the cartridge out and then shut up and put away, so that's another cool thing. And then I have Legend of Zelda 2, which is Adventures of Link, and it is also a great box in great condition. Now the corners on this one are a little beat up more than the first Zelda, but it is still in great condition. Now this next one, Blaster Master, is such a great game. When I saw this, I was stoked about it. Now, if you've never played this game, you can actually play it on the Switch. There is a remake called Blaster Master Zero, and it is a lot of fun as well. So if you like games that are kind of retro, but you want to play them on your Switch, Blaster Master Zero is definitely one for you. So the next one I have ever actually played, but it's called The Conquest of the Crystal Palace, and this one has its wrapping as well. Now, it looks really interesting. The cover is really crazy looking. It looks gnarly, so I'm definitely going to have to check this game out. Next is a beat-up copy box of Zelda's Cookie. Now, this is a cool game. It's reminiscent of like Dr. Mario or something like that. So check that out if you like puzzle games. That's definitely a cool one. Next we have is the Little Mermaid, and that is pretty cool. This game is an okay game. It's not my favorite, but it's a fun game. It's a fun game, she says. It's okay. But the box is just a little beat up. And now we have yet another Tin-Gen game, which is Pac-Man. And this was actually a big deal when this one released, because getting a Pac-Man game on an NES console that was not licensed was pretty insane. So that's pretty cool to find that as well. Then we have Dash, Galaxy, and the Alien Asylum. This box looked really good. Now it has a little bit of corner damage, but nothing too serious. So I'm really stoked to get that, and the box art is really awesome as well. Next we have Mickey Mousecapade, and I'm sure she likes this one because it's a Disney game and everyone likes Disney games. But it's actually pretty fun. I'm not going to rag on it that much because it actually is a fun game. Then next we have Gauntlet 2, which this box is basically brand new and it looks really great. The box art on this is really cool and I really like it. It looks very interesting because you have the 4 players on the front and it shows you that this game is going to be really cool. And if I saw this in 1989 or 90, I would have picked this up, no doubt. The next one is Startropics, which is a fun game. It's a little weird because Japanese people are trying to make an American game for the West, so that was one thing that was really cool and interesting because they kind of try to take the American culture and put it into a JRPG/RPG game. So this is definitely a fun game if you haven't checked it out. And last but not least is The Adventures of Bayou Billy. Now this game is fun. Now it's hard, but it's fun. Like you probably know, NES games are notoriously hard. This is a hard game in my opinion. Other people may not think so, but I think it's slightly a hard game. So with that being said, we picked up all these things and surprisingly they were all in a box, and the box had water damage and there was some VHSs on top of them which were just destroyed, which I'm thankful that the VHSs were on top and not some of these boxes. So that was really cool. So we got to make the trip up to Minnesota and I came back with this massive haul. So with that being said, I know that I hit the jackpot with this. There weren't any games with it, but the majority of these boxes I actually have the games back behind me on the shelf. So that's pretty cool to be able to put a box with those cartridges. So if you like this video or any videos like this, whether it's random pickup videos that I do, or if you like monthly pickup videos or flea market videos, comment below and let me know if you enjoy this. Now with that being said, don't forget about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Big Cartel, and Patreon. All this stuff is below in the description. So I just want to let you know that I am appreciative of you guys watching this so much. Thank you very much. Before you go, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, because we all know that YouTube cares more about the bell than it does an actual subscription nowadays. So, with that being said, have a good day.
Bye.